This is a true story about a case of school bullying that led to a death sentence. 6 students from the National Defense University of Malaysia brutally burned their roommate to death using an iron. This shocking incident, known as the Zulfahan torture case, caused an uproar worldwide. On May 21st, 2017, in a dormitory at the National Defense University of Malaysia, a male student discovered that his recently purchased laptop had been stolen. Instead of reporting the incident to the police, he accused his quiet and honest roommate, Zulfahan, of the theft. Although Zulfahan repeatedly denied stealing the laptop, the student refused to believe him and insisted he was the thief. Enraged, he left the dormitory and later returned with more than 20 classmates to interrogate Zulfahan through torture. They tied up Zulfahan's hands and feet and taped his mouth shut before beating and humiliating him for over 2 hours. Despite the torture, Zulfahan never admitted to stealing the laptop. In reality, the students themselves had no proof he was guilty. They were simply looking for someone to blame. As Zulfahan lay on the floor severely injured, many students, fearing the situation would escalate, stopped attacking him. Eventually, only 6 students remained. One of them, named Adu Hakim, suggested using the dormitory's iron to burn him. These 6 students then resumed torturing Zulfahan, pressing the scorching iron against his skin. The excruciating pain nearly made him lose consciousness, and the smell of burning flesh filled the room. No one intervened to stop the abuse. After an hour of burning, Zulfahan's body was left unrecognizable. Along with bruises from the beatings, he suffered horrifying burns covering 80% of his body, with more than 30 areas reaching 3rd-degree severity. Even his most private parts were not spared. Realizing the severity of Zulfahan's condition, the students panicked and secretly took him to a nearby clinic for treatment. The doctor was shocked by the extent of the burns and asked how they had occurred. The students claimed that Zulfahan, a student at the National Defense University, had been injured in a training explosion. Fearing further retribution, Zulfahan reluctantly nodded in agreement. Finding the explanation reasonable, the doctor did not press further. However, the small clinic lacked the resources to treat such severe burns and only provided medication while advising them to transfer Zulfahan to a hospital immediately. Terrified that going to a hospital would expose their crime, the 6 students instead took Zulfahan back to the dormitory. Without proper medical treatment, his condition rapidly worsened due to infections. The students, however, failed to realize the gravity of the situation until 10 days later, when other classmates found him and rushed him to a hospital. Unfortunately, it was too late. Due to prolonged lack of treatment, Zulfahan's injuries had caused heart swelling and kidney failure. Within hours of arriving at the hospital, he passed away. The incident drew significant attention from military and police authorities who vowed to bring the perpetrators to justice. Zulfahan's parents were devastated upon learning how their son had been tortured to death. Despite their immense grief, they believed the court would deliver a fair judgment. However, in 2021, when the case was brought to trial, the verdict shocked everyone. Out of the 18 involved students, 12 received only 3-year prison sentences, while the 6 main culprits were convicted of manslaughter rather than murder and were sentenced to just 18 years in prison. This ruling enraged both Zulfahan's parents and the public. Determined to seek justice for their son, his parents spent 4 years gathering evidence and successfully appealed the case in 2024. This time, the judge overturned the previous verdict, ruling that the 6 main perpetrators were guilty of intentional murder. As a result, they were sentenced to death by hanging with immediate execution. This final judgment brought a sense of justice, ensuring that such horrific acts would not go unpunished. If there is a next life, perhaps they will think twice before committing such heinous crimes again.